So it's been a week since I've got back from my Vipassana course, and I thought I'd do this video to provide an insight on what I had to go through and what it's actually about and why I did it. I'm not sure if I'm going to fill the whole thing in one go because there's a lot to talk about, and I think there's stuff that I'm going to miss and then I realize I miss, and I'll edit it all in, and then so I might change outfits partway through this, and then the whole environment might change, but we'll see. So if I'm just talking from my head, in short, Vipassana is supposed to help you. It's like a meditation technique that's supposed to enable you to live a better, happier life with less misery. And I'll post a link of the website down here if you want to read a lot more into factually what it's about. But in simple terms, it teaches you to observe your breathing, not like your natural breath, so just how you breathe normally. It doesn't give you any breathing techniques, you just observe mentally. And then like after a few days of being able to do that, you then focus on the sensations that you feel in your body, and you have to try and to remain equanimous towards any sensations you feel, good or bad. And this teaches you not to be aversive or crave them, which leads to misery, but I'll talk about that later. So now I'll try to go through what I did each day. I feel like that might be the best way to do this video. Day 0. This is when you first arrive. So I got there pretty early. I think you get there between 2 or 5 to register onto the course properly. I think I got there at 2:30. And yeah, I was very early. People would come a lot later, I think up till 5. And basically you get there, you fill in a form, you go through an interview, like a very short interview. You choose if you want to laundry throughout the days, and then you get like a bag of sheets and a towel. And then of course you drop your stuff off. So you drop all your stuff off that you don't need and you can't have, such as your phone, your laptop, any notepads, writing material like pens. Literally can't have anything. I couldn't have my bracelets, so luckily I could fit my hand out of them, so they're back on me now. As well as my necklace. I had to actually snip this off, but I got another new string, so it's back. And yeah, so you're literally allowed nothing. You're allowed clothes. There's like I'll put a list of stuff that's recommended for you to bring, but yeah, you're supposed to be conservative clothes, and you can have a torch, like a small watch so you can keep track of the time, and I think that's pretty much it. I had like a water bottle too, and yeah. So you wait there and they provide snacks and drinks, and I wasn't sure we were allowed the snacks and drinks, so I was literally messaging Sam and I was like, oh my gosh, there's loads of food here, but I don't know if I can eat this because no one's eating this. But at the end of it, I pocketed up the courage and I took some, and they were really nice. So once you register, you can settle into your room, maybe meet your roommate if you have one, and then just chill out for a bit until I think about 6ish. They call you into the dining room, and then you have like your first dinner there, but it doesn't count as part of the course yet, and this dinner is not vegetarian, vegan, so it has meat, and it's actually really nice, very good food. And then yeah, between 6 and 8 you have dinner, and then at 8 you officially start the noble silence for 10 days, and then you do an hour of meditation in the hall before heading to bed. And once you go to bed with your roommate or not roommate. And unfortunately I was placed with someone who spoke to me that evening about the lights, which I don't know why she needed to, but I think twice after that she also spoke to me just about the room situation stuff. And then the teacher eventually, she told me that I shouldn't have spoke to her, and that if that happened again, like to tell her, because we're not supposed to be talking. But sometimes we were in the same room and I felt cornered and I didn't know what else to, how to deal with it. So I did respond as shortly as I could. Eventually she did get moved after she discussed some things with the teacher. So I ended up having the room to myself. There's ants here, I'm panicking. So this was the official start day. And every day, so routine-wise, you would start at 4 a.m. There would be the alarm bell, wake up. And what I did was, as soon as the alarm bell went off, I just got in the shower, because if I stayed in bed any second longer, I would not want to leave. And then there is a 2-hour morning session from 4:30 till 6:30. And you can do this in the hall or in your room. I always chose to go to the hall because I felt like I was more productive in the hall. In the room, I feel like I would doze off or just not be effective. I found the 2 hours during the course, in the morning, was the most effective for me anyway. So I just kept going to the hall because I just found my focus and concentration to be better there. And so this one was apart from the night before, my official first time proper meditation. And so I experienced quite a lot of pains just sitting down, because it's such a long time staying sitting down and not really moving. But I didn't know if this was just because I wasn't used to it, but there were people who did meditate before, and I think when we were discussing this at the end of the course, they also felt the same way. I guess it's just a long time to be sitting down, which is not normal. So yeah, we were taught to meditate by focusing on our breathing / respiration as instructed by Goenka, and he would tell us to focus on it just going in and out, no matter what pace, just the normal natural respiration that you have. So don't force anything. Although he did say if you're struggling to focus on it, you can take a few deep breaths to start off with to help you focus better. After these 2 hours, you get breakfast. Breakfast between 6:30 and 8. Usually you only take about half an hour to eat breakfast, and then you have an hour to just chill. And then after that, you get another 3 hours of meditation till lunch at 11. Lunch is between 11 till 1, and then there's an hour slot where you have time to discuss any questions or things you don't understand, problems about the technique or the course in general with the teacher. And then you have more meditation. So you have a 4-hour meditation session technically. So between 1 till 2:30, you have an option to meditate in your own room or in the hall again. They say the meditation hall is the best place to meditate, and I think I only tried to meditate in my room twice during the course, and each time I found I just couldn't focus as well, so I just kept going to the meditation hall. 2:30 till 3:30, it's a group meditation, and 3:30 till 5 is also a group meditation. And sometimes the teacher can tell you could go back to your room or stay, depending on if you're a new student or an old student. And then at 5, you get a small snack and a tea break. So the small snack would consist of crackers and a piece of fruit. And then tea. And then after 6, so you have that between 5 and 6. And then 6 and 7, you'll have another meditation session. And then 7 till about 8:15ish, you will have this discourse, which is a pre-recorded video of Goenka going through the theories and how you apply what you learned, or go through what you learned during the day and kind of why you're doing it, but not fully why. So sometimes you'll have questions, like I had questions at the end of the day thinking like, I don't fully understand, but a lot of it got answered during the rest of the discourses throughout the course. So I tried not to, as soon as I had a query in my head, ask the question to the teacher straight away, because it tended to get answered throughout the course. Then we would meditate for another hour-ish, basically up till 9 p.m. and then we go to bed. In the halls where we would meditate, you have a designated area of space where you have your little square of your meditation square mat, and you can actually get pillows to make yourself feel more comfortable. I think at day 4 or 5 I found the optimal way to sit for me, and yeah, I think after day 5 I got used to the pain and I was not really needing to adjust. Although on the sessions when we were allowed to move, I kind of made myself sit in more uncomfortable postures, and more uncomfortable sitting positions to make myself feel more pain and try and remain more equanimous towards that pain. I don't know if this helped, but I was like, maybe we'll just try it. So I started getting a bad headache / migraine, which I don't normally get. Like, I think either from lunch or dinner onwards, we couldn't record anything, like keep track of what we felt, so I can't fully remember. I'm pretty sure it was maybe dinner. And it was like on the right side of my head, like just here, like a really strong headache. And so it kind of helped for me to place my hand here. I don't know why, but it did. And at the end of the day, I ended up asking the teacher if this was okay, because I don't know if this would mess with the whole meditation of it. And she told me these were like the impurities coming out in a form of a headache. And she told me to try and not hold it as much as I can, because this might disturb the meditation, and just try and ignore it. Which I was like, okay. Like, I was a bit skeptical with the whole, this is the impurity. I still don't fully know if I believe they were impurities, or it's just because I'm not used to focusing so much on such a small area of me. She also asked if I got them at home, and I told her I didn't. So she was like, well, it must be because of the course. Which, yes, but I don't know if it is the impurities. So for this day, we got told by Gwenka in the pre-recorded tapes to focus on the respiration sensations on this little triangular area of their face. And it would be like any sensations you would feel in and around the nostrils, and also your upper lip area. I was still getting headaches and I was trying to ignore them. The teacher did say, like, if it's still continued, to see her again the next day, but I thought maybe I was dehydrated or something, because I didn't feel like I was drinking that much water during the course. So I just thought to see if that fixed anything, and it didn't. Just maybe go to the toilet a lot more. But yeah, sometimes it would become unbearable, so I would do the thing where I would keep my hand on my head, which I should not be doing, maybe, but it just helped ease the pain. And then we were also taught to focus more on a smaller area of the face. So we got told to just the small area here, so basically your whole upper lip, like any perspiration, heat, cold, tingles, itching, anything, just on that. So my headaches got a lot worse this day. I actually ended up crying because of them. They were super like intense, sharp, shooting pains, and I didn't really know what to do. I asked to speak to the teacher, like I think after the lunch break, so like at 1ish, and then I thought she said 5 minutes, and I ended up having to wait till 5 because basically we had an hour session and then a break, and I asked her again if I could speak to her, and she said 5, but I thought it meant 5 minutes after the break, and it was not. And then after the break, we had a 2-hour whole session of a recording of Cuenca explaining like basically an introduction to Vipassana. So for 2 hours straight, I was in an intense pain, and yeah, afterwards I basically broke down in front of the teacher, and I was like, I don't know why I'm crying, it just really hurts, blah blah blah. And yeah, I just felt kind of not, well, yeah, stupid for crying because of the pain, but it was really painful. And I asked basically if I could move to the side of the room that was slightly darker than where I was sitting, because I think the light intensified the headaches, because I'd move in a certain position where my eyes/head was covered from the light, and it would kind of make it feel better. And so she moved me to the back of the room where it was slightly darker, and I think it did help. So from dinner of day 4, we got told to do another meditation session, and for an hour to not move. And as in not move as in don't change your posture. Obviously you can like move a little bit because you can't just keep still 100%, but yeah, to not open your legs, open your hands and stuff. And from this day forward, we did 3 1-hour sessions where we're not supposed to move our posture, change our posture every day. Also, the intro to Vipassana is basically, he talked about feeling the sensations in your body. So like you would go through part by part, like the different sensations you would feel. So like on your face, your whole face, you would scan it in a way. So like so you could feel like a breeze come through, or like an itching sensation, or even just your hair brushing against it, or like on your, if like a body part was covered, you could feel the touch of the cloth. Or there's some areas that would be harder to feel stuff. So like I don't know if it was the same for everyone, but my forearms sometimes I would get blocked, and they would say that if you can't feel anything, just move on. And yeah, that basically was what the 2-hour session consisted of. More Vipassana practice. I was bearing through the headaches. I did get better at the back of the room, so that was good. Go on and off like my headaches would, which would coincide with the teachings that everything passes and comes and passes, and everything is temporary. So I just had that in my brain, like this headache is temporary, will go, blah blah blah, and just don't be aversive towards it, it's fine. Day 6, more Vipassana again, basically more Vipassana till day 10, but he would say different things to focus on, which I will try and go through. So day 6, I think it was, we got told to observe the sensations symmetrically through the body. So instead of like a body part at a time, so like he said at the training day, to start from the top of your head, through your scalp, to your face, to your neck, to the back of your neck, and then to your arm, all the way to your fingers, and then to your other arm, all the way to your fingers, for your chest, little area, to your back area, and then through your legs, like one leg at a time. And now he's telling us to focus on the part symmetrically. So obviously your face will just be your face, but like through your arms the same time, and through your legs the same time. And then if you couldn't do this, because sometimes you would get blockages, or like you can't feel a sensation throughout one thing, or you would have intense sensations in the other, which it makes it hard to flow through both at the same time, he would tell you to try and do a section at a time again. He tells you like if you can't manage to go through them symmetrically, to not get disappointed and just try for a minute, and if not, just keep going, because once you go back again, maybe you'll feel it both. Day 7 was basically the same as day 6, so to day 8. So day 8, we were taught to observe the sensations of free flow. So there would be times where you would have like very subtle sensations all over your body that you could feel, and observing them, you can kind of observe it going through the whole of your body, which gives you a kind of like a swoosh, nice sensation, which you're not supposed to be craving, and just remain equanimous towards it, and not crave it to come again and again and again. So this gave, like, for me, I think it was different for everyone from what I spoke to, but for me, this sometimes came like a cold slash hot sensation, tingly, and it would kind of make you feel light, not levitating, but light. So I think some people experience different things, but apparently, yeah, you crave the sensation and you're not supposed to. So that's a way to teach you how to be equanimous. This is, again, temporary, a temporary nice feeling. You will probably get another aching sensation at some point, so everything is temporary. He would tell you to do the sweep all over the body, maybe twice, and then again do bits part by part, part by part. And yeah, day 9 was again more practice. And then day 10, we could finally talk. So after the 8 to 9 no moving 1 hour session, we were allowed to talk. And then after that session, we had another meditation session, and it was actually a lot harder after being able to talk to people to focus. And I don't know if your brain just wasn't used to all the insert word, but yeah, the meditation session straight after that was very hard to focus. So I don't know why I was expecting very bare minimum facilities, as I knew it was donation based. So the room I think everyone's room in this compound anyway. So this was in Gadog-Puncak, which is near Bogor, which is 2 hours away from Jakarta in Indonesia. So my room had an aircon and an ensuite, which I was not expecting. Like, I was expecting a mattress on the floor, like really basic stuff. The meals were also really good. I thought I was gonna starve the whole time. My friend thought I was gonna be really skinny when I met up with her again. But yeah, breakfast and lunch would be like a buffet style, so you can take until you're basically full. But they actually recommend you to just eat until you're like 3/4 full, because apparently this is best for meditation. I didn't always follow this because the food was really nice. Breakfast consisted of some sort of variety of Indonesian breakfast, such as rice porridge, congee noodles, soup, and then fruit. And every morning there is always bread, porridge, and you can make toast. There was loads of spreads, like peanut butter jams and chocolate spread. I tried to eat all the food, at least like a little bit of each one, so I could try the different. I'm a foodie, so I like to try them all. So I literally had tried everything. And I think there was only like 2 things I didn't like. In the morning, I would have at least 1 slice of peanut butter on toast because it was really tasty, and like a Milo or a coffee. And lunch, again, as a variety of Indonesian food. I think, yeah, there was only 2 things I didn't like. Breakfast, I think I liked everything. But lunch, there was only 2 things I didn't like. But I'm not a very picky eater, so I don't know how it would be for others. I know there was one French girl who was sitting next to me, and there was some days she would have like nothing on her plate, and I'm like, how are you not hungry? Also, everything is vegan, as one of the precepts is to not kill. Dinners were light but manageable, as you only have 3 hours before you have to go to bed. But you can really feel the hunger sinking in like half an hour before breakfast, basically, on a 2-hour meditation session in the morning. There was also some really weird things that I experienced during the meditation. So I don't know if, I don't, well, some people felt different things that were weird, but for me, like really like vivid, almost like memories, or like I was living them, was happening. And like I don't know which days it was, but it was nothing I've ever been in a situation I've been in. So there was like one time where I was in a hot air balloon ride. I've never been in a hot air balloon, but it felt like I was feeling all the sensations of being in a hot air balloon. And it's like I knew it wasn't real, but it was like almost hard to snap out of it. I was like, just focus on the sensations of your arm. But yeah, I was just stuck in this air balloon. I was like, I don't know what to do. And then there was the other time where I was like in a dinner, like a big table, having dinner with people that I don't know who they were. And there was like, I think it was like a procession of people like going, you know, when there's like royalty and people would donate, like not donate, like give gifts and stuff to them. So it was like a line of people dressed in like really like almost Viking, but not Vikings, like it was old clothes. And they were going like from, so I was sitting where I was, and they would be coming and going through here, but I knew it wasn't real, and I knew there wasn't a door behind me to the right, so I was like, okay, well, they can't go that way. And yeah, it was very weird. And yeah, I had those. And obviously, like the first few days, I had thoughts that were my actual thoughts. So it would be like stuff that I would think about, like, oh, like this person, that person, blah blah blah. But yeah, those the ones that the experiences that I've never lived through and felt so real was really confusing. But then there was a video recording, like in the discourses, in the evening discourses, that said something about, I think it, like seeing, I think Buddha said he saw his past lives whilst reaching enlightenment, whatever. So I'm like, are these my past lives? But I don't know if that's a thing, or I was just very distracted and things would just come up in my imaginations and I would see them. But yeah, I thought I would disclose that here. I think during the course I learned to be more observant of the sensations in my body, which I guess most people don't pay attention to, and how to remain equanimous to them and kind of apply this to what real life situations. So if something would make you angry, you can choose to just observe it. Even if you still get angry, you can just, if you first decide to just observe before getting angry, the amount of anger you feel would be less than it was if you just instantly react. Which I think in one of the videos it said if you're at least even like 10% less angry than you were before, you are living a happier life. So it has helped you change your life in a way. This makes you less miserable, and also there's a teaching to not, teaches you to not crave happiness. So there would be times where you would have moments of great joy, such as like you had a really great weekend, you went and did this amazing fun party, or I don't know, like a really fun getaway, and you were really happy during it, and then you could not dwell, but you would look back on it and wish, oh, that was a really happy time of my life. And that would kind of make you miserable because you miss it and you crave it and you want that feeling again, which makes you miserable. So you can still be happy. This was a question I asked the teacher actually. It was like, so I like, you are still allowed to be happy, you're still allowed to feel sad and angry, but just make sure to not to react to it, because you're only human. You can't really stop yourself from feeling these sensations, but maybe basically the more established you get in the meditation technique, before you even get to the point of craving or before you even get to angry or aversive towards something, you already feel the smallest sensations in your body building up that leads to that. So it it prevents it from even getting to the stage where you feel the need to react, I think. But obviously I've not reached that point of enlightenment, so I cannot attest to that. So I think it's basically learning that everything comes and goes. Everything is temporary, therefore you don't need to react so rash, and this helps you keep a more level mind towards everything. And like there was like one of the videos, it would be like the Buddha basically would be attacked by someone, and he would be a very level-headed mind and just say, I don't want this anger, you take that anger, that's your problem, I'm just gonna basically do me. But he didn't say that, but basically like that. And so he caused no misery for himself, and the man also I think he realized some sort of like, why are you not reacting? And it confused him, which actually led him to take up Vipassana and then, you know, change his life. And for me, so a week in, I've yet to put a lot of this into practice, and I would say I have a long way before I reach the point of total equanimity. Especially with traveling, you don't really have a proper routine, so I find it difficult to find an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening to do the meditation. I'm trying to do at least an hour a day, but even that I'm not doing so well. But I feel like I am reacting less to things, and I'm more observant of me. Some people would ask how I found out about the retreat, so I actually just not stumbled into it, but it was just meeting people traveling. Like this guy said it like changed his life, and this girl said like it's really interesting and she was about to do it. There's another girl who's done it, and she also said it was really good, interesting experience to try, and it just really piqued my interest, and I was like, ooh, okay. And yeah, I looked into it for when we got to Indonesia, and I booked into it, and then yeah, that's it. So I'll try to do an update maybe later on, maybe in a month's time, to see if I have kept up with this and if I notice any more impact it has on my life. But I feel like it's a very interesting experience, so even if you don't, or I don't get the results, I feel like the stuff that you get from it is really interesting if you're very into psychology and challenging yourself and just knowing more about yourself.